Hello everyone and welcome back to Canadian King Coins. In today's video I'll be giving you a bit of history on the Canadian small cent, or as it's commonly called, the penny, which as you may have heard was actually withdrawn from circulation in February 2013, with 2012 being the last issue. The first issue of the small cent came partway through 1920, as both large and small cents were issued for that year, and neither are particularly rare. To see my video on the Canadian large cents, click here. The Canadian government decided to reduce their cents to the size of American cents, to avoid confusion, but most importantly, to save on copper. The original reverse was a fairly simple design by a man named Fred Lewis, and the obverse bore the portrait of King George V, who first appeared on Canadian coins in 1911. The design remained the same until 1936. One of the most famous Canadian coins, and the most valuable, is the 1936 dot cent, which came into being when King George V died in January 1936, and his first son was crowned King Edward VIII. The mint prepared dies for the coinage with the new king on them, but after an unfortunate series of events, King Edward VIII abdicated that December in favor of his brother, who was crowned King George VI. The mint was left with no dies for the new king, and decided it would issue the 1936 cents again, but with a small dot below the date, right here, to denote that it was actually struck in 1937. But in the end, the new dies were prepared in time, and only a few specimens of the 1936 dot cent are known, with one of them recently realizing $400,000 at auction. And this leads us into the new maple leaf twig design of 1937. With the ascension of King George VI on the throne, the mint decided that it was time to modernize the designs of our coinage, and all of the coins received a new reverse design, which are still used today, or in the penny's case until 2012. King George VI succumbed to a long battle with lung disease in February 1952, and as such his young daughter became Queen Elizabeth II, and appeared on our coins in 1953. This portrait is now called the Young Head portrait and shows her at age 27. Her portrait would receive an update in 1965. Showing her at age 39. This is known as the Tiara portrait and would be used until 1989. In 1967, all of the coins had a special design to commemorate the Canadian Centennial. All of the coins featured animals and were designed by a renowned Canadian artist, Alex Colville. As such, the reverse features a rock dove in flight. This marks the only year the 1937 maple leaf design was not used before the penny was abolished in 2012. In 1990, the Queen received another update to her portrait, now showing her at age 64. This portrait was first designed by a Canadian, Dora de Pedry Hunt, and is known as the Uncrowned Portrait and would be used until 2003. In 1997, the penny's composition was changed from 98% copper to 98% zinc, and then soon after, in 2012, it was changed to copper-plated steel. Partway through 2003, the Queen's portrait was again updated. This one might be familiar to you. This is called the Uncrowned Portrait, and it is still used today, showing her at age 77. Different steel alloys were tested in circulation all throughout the late 2000s, until the final decision to abolish the penny in 2012. As it was costing an average of 1.6 cents to make each penny, and inflation over the years had just rendered it basically worthless. And so ended the great legacy of the Canadian 1-cent coin. Nowadays all cash transactions are rounded to the nearest 5 cents, and the penny is beginning to fade from memory. And who knows, maybe the United States will wise up one day and abolish their penny too. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this rather long video on the history of the Canadian small cent, And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing and liking this video. Also consider checking out Big D Coins channel, who inspired me to start making these videos in the first place. Again, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.